From reef and rock and skerry, over headland at Ness and Bow, the coastwise lights of England watch the ships of England go.
Those lines were written by Rudyard Kipling. Today, watching our ships from this coastline are more than 100 lighthouses and lightships, manned by 400 men trained to keep their lights flashing at all costs, in all weathers, from sunset to sunrise. The authority responsible for this task is Trinity House, whose blitzed and rebuilt headquarters stand on London's Tower Hill. Scotland and Northern Ireland have their own authorities. With nearly 500 years' experience behind it, Trinity House today has an executive body which, under the Master, the Duke of Gloucester, consists of a Deputy Master and 9 elder brethren, chosen for their outstanding service at sea. Once a month, wearing their distinctive uniform, they hold court with ceremonial dignity. They deal with current business, which, as well as lighthouses, includes the operation of the pilotage services, for which Trinity House is also responsible. There are also 12 honorary brethren, of whom Sir Winston Churchill is the senior, and whose association with Trinity House goes back for half a century. The maintenance of lighthouses and lightships is divided into 6 areas, each area having its own coastal depot. Stores are distributed by Trinity House Tenders, the flagship of which is the Patricia. She's the oldest of the Trinity fleet. And here's the youngest, just coming into service. From flagship to lightship, these strange immobile craft generally guard sandbanks where lighthouses would be impracticable to build. They have a crew of 7 who have a month on board, followed by 2 weeks' leave ashore. One of the most secluded professions must surely be lighthouse keeping. Having decided early in life that this isolated existence is preferable to the city turmoil, the young recruit signs on at Harwich, where he's taught all there is to know about lighthouse equipment. He's even taught to cook. Having qualified, the new recruit will soon find himself on board one of the Trinity House Tenders as part of a relief lighthouse crew about to learn the unteachable art of living in close quarters with his fellow creatures. Rock lighthouses have 3 keepers on duty for 2 months at a time, followed by a month's leave. The tender is now heading for the Smalls Light off the Welsh coast. Once upon a time, lighthouses were privately owned. In the 1830s, the 41-year lease of the Smalls cost Trinity House £170,000. Later, all lighthouses were taken over by Act of Parliament. Who pays for this busy, untiring service we hear so little about? Revenue comes from dues paid by all passing ships over 20 tons, at the rate of roughly 1 shilling a ton. It totals about £4.5 million a year, to which the Queen Mary, for example, contributes around £10,000. In the early part of last century, before telephones were invented, the gallery of the original lighthouse here figured in a gruesome drama. One of the 2 keepers died. The other lashed his body to the gallery. So bad was the weather that it was 4 months before a ship could call. The relief of the Smalls is now complete. No more visitors for another 2 months. To some, the relaxation ahead may be more of a problem than the work. This display of arts and crafts at Trinity House, however, shows that to men of imagination, there are plenty of ways of filling leisure moments. And so on around the Welsh coast, Bardsey Island, South Stack, South Bishop, then the Skerries off Anglesey, a sanctuary for rare seabirds, a property which once cost Trinity House £400,000 to prize from private ownership. Now, just another of Trinity House's tough, spick-and-span signposts of the sea. Lighthouse keeping used to be a family business, and in those days, one member of such a family achieved immortality. The Longstone Light on the Farne Islands off the coast of Northumberland was kept by William Darling, his wife, and young daughter Grace. Early one September morning in 1838, with a northeasterly gale raging, Grace saw from her bedroom window a great ship, the Forfarshire. She was stranded on the Harkers, a wicked ledge of rocks nearby. In mountainous seas, she and her father set off in a small boat and rescued 5 of the Forfarshire's crew. From Longstone to Longships, down in the opposite corner of England, off the rugged coast of Cornwall, facing the broad Atlantic. A quarter where crews can't always expect to be relieved on the dot. Nevertheless, the ever-resourceful human has his own practical remedy for being so near, yet so far from his home. Even then, his wife gets the last word. This is undoubtedly the rumbustious corner of England. A few miles to seaward of Longships stands the gaunt Wolf Rock, sometimes obscured by gales sweeping in from the Atlantic. It often takes all a keeper's nerve and sinew here to relieve his mate. Finally, the modern lighthouse. The new 130-foot tower on Dungeness Beach, completed in 1960. Tall, slender, modern from without. Within, a true representation of this electronic age. On entering, one is confronted by a press-button panel. Everything is automatic. At sunset, the light starts flashing. At daylight, it stops. When fog comes down, the foghorns strike up. When it lifts, they stop. If power fails, more power cuts in. The lamp itself is the last word in electric light. By modern standards, equipment in some lighthouses may be out of date, but this service can't afford to install mechanism just because it's the last word. The risk is far too great. Everything in a lighthouse must be well-tried and reliable. Dungeness is a prototype. Others will follow. But throughout the advance, come hell or high water, the lights must keep flashing.